Hi guys. It's been a little while since I've been on here. I've been so insanely busy. I honestly wanted to jump on the other day and show you all the seedlings that were sprouted and everything that was coming in for the fall garden. But then Hurricane Helene came through. We didn't get hit bad, but we did get quite a bit of wind and rain, and well, it wiped out all the seedlings. So I kind of had to start over. But I figured it's time to check in. Want to show you what I have been up to and give you an update on the somewhat bare looking fall garden right now and the chicks. October is such a transitional period, and I'm a little behind with my fall planting, so it's thin. It's not empty, but it's thin. I just want to show you my bean arch. If you've been following along for a while, you might remember this being very, very thick and lush, and well, it's kind of bare right now. And that's just the wind defoliated the entire thing, but we've still got beans. Hopefully it'll snap back. I gave it a little fertilizer, see if that'll perk it up at all. I am starting to save seeds from the beans, so the production might slow down a little bit, just because when the seeds mature, the plant thinks I did my job. My job is to reproduce. It's to produce seeds. When it feels that it's produced enough seeds, it'll just stop producing. But you can see how thick I'm letting just a couple of them get. In order to save seeds from these, you just let them continue to grow until they completely dry on the vine. Here's a little one I just let go, but it's almost ready. It's not completely dry yet, but you can see it's kind of getting thin and papery and almost there. You know, I may be absolutely terrible at growing watermelon during prime watermelon growing season. But apparently I'm not too terrible at it in October. That's probably the biggest one I've got this year, and I think it's ready to harvest. Let's see. Tendril is brown. Crown spot's looking pretty creamy yellow. Doesn't sound too bad. And the mesh bag is to protect it from pickle worms. So this time of year, everything goes into mesh baggies. Got the Cajo melon right here. And I think this one's ready too. I will say, I wasn't a fan of the Cajo melon. It's a yellow flesh variety. It was very bland. I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't very, very sweet. But we'll see if this one's any better. I only had one of them, so. Hi, little guy. I didn't mean to disturb you. Excuse me. Okay. Yep, that is another one. And the tendril is still very, very much so green, so more time. I'm not sure if that's going to have enough time before the end of the season, though. I think, I want to say these are black diamond watermelons. I believe that's what I planted in this area. I just kind of got a little seed crazy one day and put them everywhere. Like, I've actually got a watermelon growing right here. It's not producing anything. It's still too young. It took forever to germinate, but it's there. And there's another one over here. The first storm, Debbie, with all that rain, took out all my squash. So I just basically planted watermelon wherever the squash was. One thing I have no shortage of, peppers. My banana peppers are doing fantastic. Okay, so this trellis is 6 foot tall. Maybe 5'6". But still, this pepper plant goes way up into the tree. I don't think I've ever had a banana pepper plant or any pepper plant get quite this tall before. But it's doing great. Not bad. And Corbachi pepper back here is doing pretty good. They're such an interesting pepper. Such an interesting shape. Very fruity. And this was a stunted peperoncini pepper that was planted at the same time as all my other peppers and just kept having a bunch of diseased growth, but I just ignored it and let it do its thing. But it's actually starting to produce. It regrew with some much better looking foliage that's not so mottled and twisted, and we got peppers on it. So this is a variety I haven't grown before, and I'm hopeful to try it this year. Hopefully we have enough time to get something off of it so I can see if I should try again next year. Oh, and this Lacea pepper had the same thing going on as that pepperoncini pepper. It's just the leaves look kind of mottled and twisted and not healthy, but it looks like this one might actually be putting on some normal growth and got some buds in there, so we'll see what happens with this. But one thing I don't have a shortage of, even though it was started after everything else, is Biquinho peppers. Look at them all. Oh, I love these things. They're mildly, oh, something got to that one. They are mildly spicy. Not super hot at all. And to me, they have a little bit of a smoky flavor, but also very sweet. Biquinho roughly translate to little beak, and you can definitely see why. Just a little recap if you are new to my channel. This year was a terrible tomato year. I got nothing. Every single one of my tomato plants, and I had 9 different varieties, all died of some sort of mystery disease. And every tomato I planted after that also died of some sort of mystery disease. Well, I started a bunch of seeds back in, I want to say June, for a fall round of tomatoes. A couple of them I left in pots, a bunch of them I put in the garden. A bunch of them died, but not all of them. So I don't know if we have enough time to get any tomatoes. They're a little behind growth rate wise, but I do have tomato plants. And I kind of stuck them wherever I could fit them. Beans thinned out a little bit. Okay, we're using the bean trellis as support. So it is flowering. No tomatoes on this one yet, and this is the Brandywine, I believe. And with this, there's actually 2 tomatoes in there. It's the Old German, and I think I planted the Black from Tula right there. But this one was a beautiful little, 1 foot, 8-inch to 1 foot seedling when I planted it. Within an hour, the birds came down and ate it. So, okay, I'll plant another one right next to it, since obviously that one's not going to survive. Well, it came back. It came back. It grew back from the little stump the birds left, and now I have 2. Again, not producing anything yet, but they look quite healthy. Can you tell me what that says? Okay. That's completely worn off. I have no idea what tomato this is. I'm gonna go with Black from Tula again. That seems like something I remember doing. Kind of diseased. Wanting to flower? I don't know. At this point, it's every man for himself. And then volunteer tomato that I just stuck a cage around so it wouldn't get mowed over. I'm assuming this is a Champagne Bubbles cherry. There's probably not enough time in the season for that to do anything, but why not give it a chance? It's not like it's in the way. And pardon all the white powder on everything. It's diatomaceous earth trying to get a handle on these armyworms and cutworms, which have decided to do a number on things. But this is the lychee tomato that I've been trying to get fruit on for so long. Finally does have fruit coming along. Nothing has ripened yet, so I still haven't been able to try it. But it's doing really well. And this thing is vicious with its spines. So I don't touch it much. And these will turn red when they're ripe. It looks like it might be blushing a little bit. This is something all new to me, so we'll see what this turns into. So I decided to plant my herbs on this fence in these little planter boxes under a tree this year. Best decision I could have done. My basil has not bolted, has not even attempted to bolt. Now, they are growing a little bit on the slow side. That just tells me next year I will plant more than just 1 or 2 of each plant. I mean, mint's fine, catnip's fine. Parsley's a little bit on the small side. Basil is probably the one that's been the slowest to grow. Not necessarily a bad thing because I didn't want it to bolt, but it's not growing enough for me to use large quantities at a time. Planting it in the shade worked to keep it from bolting. It just didn't grow as vigorously as it would if it were getting in full sun. But in the south, if it were in full sun, I would have had it pretty much only for the spring. It would have just gotten too hot in the summer and it would have bolted or honestly just withered. The cardinals were here. That actually reminds me, I have a merch store. I just launched my merch store. It's still pretty young. I'm still coming out with new designs, but it's got a few good things on there. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, all with original designs, including one of a cardinal eating green beans. Beautiful chaos. I do plan on adding more designs on there on a regular basis. They are all original designs that come from my experiences. This is actually one of them. So if you want to support the channel, I'll put the link in the description and check it out. Okay, so I showed you what was growing left over from the summer. Let's see what has sprouted for fall. It'll be hit or miss because a lot of these seeds are pretty fresh in the ground since the storm wiped out my first sowing of seeds, but I know we have some that sprouted. Like potatoes. Oh yeah. Oh, these are coming up fast and lovely. So this whole section is our fall sowing of potatoes. I did Yukon Golds and just a red skin potato. What is that? What is that? That looks kind of like a beet. Maybe a sunflower? Oh, it might be a sunflower. Anyway, yes, potatoes. Our first frost isn't until late November, so it might not be the best harvest, but we should get something. I cannot tell you how many times I've sown peas. I think the birds are just plucking the seeds out of the ground because only one out of this entire row has germinated. And I'm about to give up until spring. Carrots are coming up. Kind of spotty germination. All those, well, they germinate and then we get storms that flood everything. So, spotty growth. We got carrots there. And a few popping up there. The carrots have been sown in different waves, so they're not all germinating at the same time, and they're not all ready for harvest at the same time, so kind of staggers it throughout the season. So that's probably what you're seeing is just the first wave of planting germinating. Got a couple more in there. Might have to sow some more after that. We'll see. Our carrots, we don't really harvest until spring, or at least I don't harvest until spring. The fall season just isn't long enough for them to mature into a decent size, and our winters are so mild that they end up just lasting through the winter no problem for a spring harvest. So plenty of time on those. I'm not worried. Oh, do you see what I see? This is a lettuce. I think this was iceberg lettuce I planted over here between the peppers in the shade for now, just starting to germinate. Not seeing anything on the Brussels sprouts. Oh, we got cauliflower just starting to poke up. Happy birthday, little guy. Broccoli's sprouting up pretty well. I got some beets just starting. I had to re-sow these because the storm wiped out the seedlings, but they're just starting to come up. Hi, little bee. Let's take a quick check on the progress over here. So I gave you a coop tour. And the run is almost done. Almost done. I've been working on this every single day. tearing up my hands. But the sides are almost completely screened in now, except for these two panels right here, and then I have to screen in the ceiling. And the girls will be ready to come out for the very first time. Let's take a look. Let's check on them. Haven't done that today yet. Oh, and I made a little pocket door here so I don't have to open the main door if I want to just throw scraps in. So they don't come rushing out, and just open the little pocket door. Good morning. Good morning, ladies. Hey. Hi, girls. Hi, Karen. Oh, I love their eternally bad hair days. I didn't bring any treats. I'm sorry. Please don't look offended. Hey, Karen. Yes, I know, Karen. You're very, very sweet. And you've turned feral, and I think you might be a roux. If you're new to the channel, these are Easter Egger Frizzles. They will be 6 weeks old tomorrow. I did get them as day-old chicks. And it's still early in the morning. They want nothing to do with me without treats right now. Your comb is mighty red there, ma'am. I ordered females. All right, ladies. I'll be back later. I'm sorry. I didn't bring treats. I'm sorry. I know. I'm a terrible human. I'm a terrible mom. I'll come back with treats in a bit, okay? Okay. I'll see you later. Open up some windows for them before it gets too hot out. Alright. It is loofah season. This thing's got some lean to it after Helene. It's still standing. Still seems okay. Yeah. Ugh. I keep putting my face in spider webs when I come in here, so I'm so apprehensive to stand up straight. But yes, loofah season is in full swing. Oh, and I just put my face in a spider web. Ugh. Outside of loofahs here is sweet potato that the... Is there a spider in my hair? Okay, as I was saying. Sweet potatoes that army worms have absolutely decimated. The dust, the diatomaceous earth seems to have gotten them to move on for the most part. The numbers are a whole lot better than they were. I mean, before you turn over one leaf and it's literally just covered in worms. And it's not too much of a problem for the sweet potatoes, but when it gets to this level of defoliation, it could actually stunt the plant and the tuber growth, which I don't want. So, had to do something about it. But I've been checking on the tuber growth because they seem to be a little bit behind this year. Last year, this time they were already flowering, and they were actually quite thicker than this year, but had a lot of crazy weather between droughts and floods, so everything's grown a little weird this year, but I definitely do have tuber growth. Where else did I see them? It looks like I've got some over there. And I only planted the sweet potatoes right in this little section, and then, like I said, my plan was in the beginning, once my corn was gone, I was going to let them take over the bed my corn was in, because sweet potatoes will root wherever their stem touches the ground. Here's a perfect example. And wherever they root, they send out more sweet potatoes. So, let them sprawl, and they will just make sweet potatoes wherever they hit the ground. And I found out that my dragon fruit was not actually American Beauty. I think it's Vietnamese white after cutting it open. Buddy, you startled me. I ended up ordering a American Beauty dragon fruit cutting, and that has since rooted and is putting off new growth. So I'll have to get this put up in a pot and support system much like this one here, so I don't end up in a situation like my main dragon fruit where it's just unmanageable and has a trellis that's about to collapse and I can't do anything about it, like this. I didn't know how to trellis them when I first got them, so I just got something off Amazon, and it's plastic and it's breaking and it's leaning and it does not long for this world for much longer. It's held together with electrical tape and wishful thinking, so don't use this. If you're growing dragon fruit, don't use that. But out of that blooming where they put off 6 flowers, we've got 2 that are pollinated and doing really well. You see why it's unmanageable. Oh, those things are so sharp. And here's that other little tomato I kept in a pot. We do have a tiny little tomato. It's very cat faced though. Although it might be okay, because the blossom it was attached to actually didn't get pollinated, so might be alright. But I don't know if we're gonna get any tomatoes this year. No hurt in trying though. Pomegranate's got a lot of fruit on it. A lot of this probably won't be ripe for harvest. Just not enough time. Pomegranates take a really long time to ripen, and I think these just got pollinated too late in the season. But we'll see. This is the first year where it's really fruited. I got one last year, and it was very late in the season and it didn't have time to ripen, so we'll see. Next year it probably should move along a lot faster. Nancy Garrison passion fruit is going in for a second round of fruiting this season. It has been flowering almost non-stop and has fruit all over the place. Really hoping that there's enough time for these to ripen up. They do take quite a while. They're so cute when they start to bud out. It's like a little egg that just emerges from the flower. So cute. Well, these Anne's Golden raspberries are looking tragic. A couple berries on them, but that's what this does. Like I said in my, I believe it was the 5 favorite fruits to grow. This I didn't buy this. I didn't buy Anne's Golden raspberries. I bought a red variety that would have been better suited for the South, because this is what happens if you don't. We are very humid. We're very hot. And raspberries are prone to humidity and heat related diseases. So every year around fall, she starts looking a little tragic. It'll regrow the new canes for next year and be back to beautiful by spring, just to rinse and repeat. It'd be a disaster again. But produces well in the spring, so no sense in ripping it up. The Dorman red raspberries, they're not having issues at all. We're getting lots of raspberries on here. They still have quite a lot of season left, so should be enjoying raspberries for another month or so. This is a variety that does wonderful in the South. Wonderful in the heat and humidity. It's native to Australia, so it is perfectly adjusted for this kind of weather. But make sure you put it someplace where you can contain it. I have noticed that this particular one spreads a lot faster than most raspberries. And let's just take a moment to look at the beautiful flowers. They smell heavenly. I know I probably say this every time I show you them, but words can't describe it. Oh, this is kind of neat. Butterfly ginger lily, which is what all that is. When it goes to seed, come on, focus. It produces these orange pods, which then have these intense red seeds in them. But that's just like a flesh around the seed. The seed itself is just black. pretty neat though. And the capsule is orange, but it smells like ginger. Did put some like cut and come again type lettuces in the green stalk that have started to sprout. These aren't heading lettuces. These are ones you just kind of grab leaves off as you need. Lila Rosa was one of them, and oh, the tag again. I need a better solution. It may have been May Queen. I don't know. But they're starting to come up. Well, it may not have been the best summer garden year, although certain things did extremely well. Fall starting out. To be determined. We'll see. It's okay. I wasn't as prepared for the fall as I normally am, and I've been a little distracted and a little busy and focused on the chicks. And we've had storms come through. I mean, just gotta roll with the punches. I can't be upset about my situation when there are so many people who lost everything. Now there's another storm brewing in the Gulf. Oh. They did warn that this would be an extremely bad hurricane year. A lot of named storms. I think they were predicting between 19 and 23 named storms. Some prediction methods going even higher than 23. That's scary. It's really, really scary. I look at Helene and see how incredibly lucky we are. We got wind, we got rain. We lost power for a day. More inland of South Carolina. They got it a lot worse than coastal South. I'm in the coast. But I have friends that they only recently got power back. And you go up to North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. I honestly have no words. There's an incredibly angry bird. Anyway, very lucky that we didn't get it very bad here. Thanks for everyone who reached out to check on us and make sure that we weren't in one of the zones that got hit really hard. I really do appreciate it. Well, I gotta get my butt working on that run again, so hopefully I can let the chicks out here in the next couple days, because they are getting a little stir crazy in their coop full time. If you want to check out my merch, I will put a link in the description. And thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.